So I'm going to talk about the Productive Media Choice Day. This is going to be different than choice days we've had in the past. Previously, we had certain Fridays that were designated to play games during class time, as long as you met certain requirements like a certain grade and all your work being up to date and things like that. This would allow students that needed it an extra day to make up work, and those that didn't need it and were ahead of schedule were able to have some downtime. We're changing that up this year for several reasons. One being that I felt like people were just rushing through their weekly work. And I also felt like last year there was a decrease in quality and the different types of projects that were being turned in. People would just do a quick PowerPoint in order to get through it. They would meet a lot of the requirements, but not all of them. And I felt like the quality of work was going down throughout the year. This year we're going to mix it up to hopefully improve that, and we'll see how it goes. I really can't guarantee that we'll continue to have our choice day, because if the quality of work is lacking or there's several people that don't make the grade or things like that, then we will have to eliminate it, unfortunately. So if you want to know a little more about it, on the website there's Productive Media Choice Day. There's a link. Whether you're in foundations or programming, you'll be able to check this out. When you pull it up, it looks like this. And the first part is what your choices are. So I've listed a few things here for you. A couple differences that I wanted to point out from past years. One is watching YouTube. If you choose this, it has to be something productive. So it has to be a tutorial, a how-to, and educational. The only exception to that is you can watch actual gameplay if it is not for an M-rated game, and you actually write something to go along with it, which I'll go over in a second. So you cannot just watch gameplay and do nothing. You cannot just watch a television show or something else like that. It has to be productive in some way. If you watch gameplay and you want to write about it, you can do that following the same outline as playing a game. So in previous years, you were not required to always write about it. We did do some evaluations and reviews for games, but certainly not most of our choice days, okay? This year, if you choose to play a game or watch gameplay, cannot be M-rated just like past years, but you also must write about it. So you have a few options. It doesn't have to be anything very lengthy, okay? I'm not saying write 4 pages on this game, but at least a full paragraph, 5 sentences or more, preferably more, should be very easy if you use the class time to play the game or it's a game you're familiar with. The last 15 minutes of class, I will tell everyone, okay, game's off, so that you have time to do this. That way you don't lose track of time and not get this done. We need to keep up on this, because if we're not doing something productive with our choice day, unfortunately it's going to be eliminated. Okay, so it's very important that if you play a game, you follow this outline so that we can continue to have those days when we're able to. So you have a lot of options here, just like your weekly assignments. You can do a review, you can do an evaluation, you can just write a simple blog post, 1 or 2 paragraphs discussing the game. Gameplay, if you know technical aspects of that game, you can write about that. Or if you're curious and you want to look it up, Google what language they used, what engine they used, and things like that, and write about it. But you have to use the last 15 minutes to summarize what happened, okay? If you found any bugs while you were playing, there was a glitch, an error, you can write about that. You can simply write about what you find entertaining and why. Okay, so you can't just say this game is fun, you have to elaborate, but that is an option. Same with, you can do any of this if you watch gameplay on YouTube as well. You do have other options though, where you don't actually necessarily have to turn anything in. So if you would rather, you can work in one of our Adobe products or just play around in them. Just get familiar with the tools, but not actually create something, actually just being in the product and doing things. You can read a book, okay? You do not have to summarize this book. You don't have to do anything with it. I'm going to keep track of who's doing what. Grab a beanbag, read a book, and relax, okay? Still productive. You can use the drawing tablets. You can study for a certification, which I highly recommend if you are wanting to get certified this year. We had several students try last year, and we did have several that got certified, but there were so many that were just so close. If they would have studied a tiny bit more, they would have had it. Please consider this option. Or you can do work from another class. Okay, so you're up to date in here, you have a good grade, but you're falling behind in another class. Feel free to use those days for that too. So when it's going to happen is certain Fridays. Just like in past years, Friday will be the only day that we are doing Choice Day. And it will only be certain Fridays. Just like last year, at the end of the year, we'll probably have a lot less Choice Days because we'll be finishing up our group projects and things like that. So we just won't have the time. But I will let you know when those Fridays happen. Who can participate? This is the other thing. This is similar to last year. You have to have at least a B overall in the course and current on all work. So if you missed an assignment from 3 weeks ago, you cannot do Choice Day until that's been made up. Even if it's not during that current week, you use that day to make it up. If you have a C or lower or missing work, you do not have Choice Day. Okay, you have to make up the missing work or redo past work that you received below a C on. So maybe you turned something in, but the quality wasn't up to par, so you got a D on it, and that's bringing your grade down below that B. You can redo that assignment to try to bring it up. Okay, very, very important. You will not be allowed to participate in any Choice Day during the year whatsoever if you do Choice Day without having at least a C and all your work caught up. Okay, so it's very important that you know what your grade is, you keep up to date. For playing a game or watching gameplay, you're going to upload this to Office 365. There will be a folder that says Friday game folder. So you will see that out there as you go. Make sure you get it in before you leave class that day. Do not leave the class if you played a game without uploading something, or you will lose the privilege for game day in the future. Any questions, let me know. This is a little different from how we've done it in the past.